Happy New Year! I'm Shalene from TSC Tuition, and today I'll be talking about how best to prepare for Year 12 in 2017. Depending on what school you go to, you may or may not have a massive pile of holiday homework for English. If your school has given you, tons of questions and writing exercises and things like that for all the books that you'll need to read, all movies that you'll need to study this year, you should do it. Go and do that homework. And don't do it the day before. Do it slowly and consistently over the next couple of weeks so that you really get a solid grasp on what the texts are about. If your school hasn't given you much work beyond, just read the book, this is what I suggest. You need to find out what the main themes are for each of your texts, and then as you read them, have a sheet of paper or folder or laptop, whatever it is that you're using next to you, so that when you come across a quote that you reckon would fit into one of those major themes, you can copy it straight down into your Word document or on your page or whatever it is that you're using. The reason why I suggest this is because it's the most effective way of getting a really good start to the year and also to all the texts that you're doing. Now, don't just do this for the texts that you're going to be doing in term 1. Do it for all the texts so that when you go and do your comparative or whatever it is that you're doing in, say, June, 6 months down the road, you already have read the book or the play or poems or whatever it is that you're reading, and you've already got a set of quotes that you can work with immediately. And then whatever your teacher, whatever extra materials your teacher gives you or whatever it is that you talk about in class, you can just add to your existing notes. It's not a good idea to just sort of leave it and go, oh, I'll get around to that when we do it in class, because Year 12 is actually quite a short year. You've got term 1, term 2, term 3, and then you've got maybe 2, 3, maybe 4. I haven't had a look at the calendar yet, but you've got a few weeks in term 4. But let's face it, in term 4, you're not going to be sitting down in classes. You'll be doing your graduation nights, you'll be doing your mock-up days, you'll be doing your presentation nights and Year 12 dinners and, speech night, and it's just not as good, knuckle down and study when I haven't done any study for all of the year. It's just not a good environment for that. So, get started now. It's January, you've got a couple of weeks before school starts. You don't have anything on at the moment, hopefully, fingers crossed. So you've got the time and you've got the space to read it carefully and thoughtfully and to make those notes as you go along. So that's my suggestion for preparing yourselves for both your texts and your comparative texts. In terms of language analysis, I'm going to suggest something that's quite unpopular with many of my students, and that is read the news. Read the newspaper. You need to be aware of the global issues, global and local national issues, because often that's what your issue is going to be when you do it at school. When you do your oral, when you do your persuasive text, or when you're analysing a persuasive text, they're likely going to be about an issue that's happening in the world right now. And it's really quite difficult to analyse or write about an issue when you don't know very much about the issue. So for example, if your school is going to do the sugar tax, for example, over there in the UK, there are certain words that you just need to know. You need to know, the word tax, taxation, tax offers, duties, levies, legislation, what it means when a law is tabled, all those kind of things you need to know about in order to have a really good grasp on what the issue is about, and hence how an author is trying to persuade an audience in writing about this particular issue. The other thing that I think it helps with is that it also expands your vocabulary, not just in recognizing what the words mean on the page and in context and how they're used, but it also gives you an opportunity to, try using some of those words in conversation yourself. Go talk to your friends about these issues, talk to your parents, talk to your aunts or uncles or cousins, next door neighbor if they're particularly chatty. Try and use these words that you're learning so that you have a really good grasp on them come, language analysis time. So that's my top suggestions for starting 2017 well if you're in year 12. They also apply if you're in year 11 or year 10, 9, 8, 7, other year levels. But particularly for year 12, that's what I suggest. As always, if you're interested in one-to-one tutoring, or if you'd like someone to come out to where you are, please drop me a line on either Facebook page or the website. Either is fine. Thanks for watching.